All right, we're taking a live look right now at our coverage of Tanner Horner's sentencing trial on WFAA Plus. Closing arguments are expected this week for the delivery driver who admitted to killing Athena Strand and pleading guilty to capital murder. Thanks for joining us this midday. I'm Matt Howardson. Early this week, the jury could get the case deciding life or death for Horner. Our Tiffany Liu is following the trial and is live with the latest. Tiffany.
Yeah, Matt, we are in the final stretch of this punishment phase for Tanner Horner's trial. And you know what? Athena Strand has a showing inside the courtroom. You could see it here on this pink Corvette behind me. There's a big sign that says Athena's Army. And I'm told by our senior crime and justice reporter, Rebecca Lopez, who's inside right now, that there is more of Athena's family and friends inside than there have been in the last 5 weeks. Let me give you guys a rundown of what we're seeing today inside the courtroom. We know that the defense is putting on one more witness. At last check, that person was speaking. It is a child development expert. Then the prosecution will be calling rebuttal witnesses. And tomorrow, there will be closing arguments before Tanner Horner's fate is in the hands of the jury. Athena Strand was just 7 years old when she disappeared from her small community in Wise County. Tanner Horner, a former FedEx driver, pleaded guilty to murder on the first day of trial 5 weeks ago. It means his guilt was never in question, and the trial is entirely about his punishment. The jury will have to decide whether he gets life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. Like I mentioned earlier, our senior crime and justice reporter, Rebecca Lopez, is inside the courtroom right now covering it. We also have our senior investigative reporter, Tanya Iser. She is covering this gavel to gavel, so you can follow our extended coverage on WFAA Plus. Let's send it back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Tiffany. As she mentioned, our gavel-to-gavel coverage of Horner's trial is happening right now on our streaming app, WFAA Plus, and it will continue throughout the jury's decision and reaction afterward. Plus, it's free to download to your TV. Okay, back here in the studio, we're talking about the roads outside, traffic with Erica Lopez.
Yes.
How are things looking right now?
You know what? Not bad. Can't complain for a Monday midday if folks want to head out the door. We've got really just one problem we're watching out in Kaufman County, so I'll show everyone what we have going on there. You can see it. We've got just a stalled out truck here this morning. Police were out here momentarily, then they left the scene. We do have a right lane closed. This is on 80 westbound right around Trinity this morning. Again, making your way Forney area, Kaufman County into Dallas County. This is just going to be something that you're going to run into. I'll take you over to where it is on the map. I do want to show you that we do have a backup in the area as you approach that Dallas Kaufman County line. Now, aside from this, pretty quiet out here for your Monday midday commute. A lot of green for your drive if you're getting ready to head out here soon. We'll run through a few more tech stock cameras just to give you a picture of what we have going on. So your I-30 drive through Rockwall County looking great. No issues at State Highway 205. Taking you over to what we're seeing this morning in Dallas County. Little bit of volume along I-30 westbound and 2nd Avenue. And taking you over to what we're seeing this morning at the High 5, 75 and 635. A lot better than the congestion from the morning commute, and in Collin County, no issues on 75. Matt?
All right. Thank you so much, Erica. New at midday, the U.S. Supreme Court just reinstated mail order access to the abortion pill mifepristone. A 3-judge panel in New Orleans had blocked that access, ruling new FDA rules undermine Louisiana's abortion ban and ordering mifepristone be distributed in person only. But while the nation's highest court considers that issue, the pill will be available via the mail and telehealth as well. A developing story that we are monitoring. Police are looking for potential suspects in a mass shooting at a popular campground in Edmond, north of Oklahoma City. Police say at least 10 people were taken to the hospital after gunfire broke out at a party last night. Witnesses say a fight broke out at a pavilion just before shots rang out, and most of the victims are young adults. Garland police are investigating after they say a crash turned into several failed carjackings and a deadly shooting. Our Chris Sadeghi has the details.
Police say this was a dangerous chain of events that started with crashes on the highway, turned into attempted carjackings at a gas station, and finally ended with shots fired. But the preliminary investigation shows that it was the suspect who was shot and killed. This was on Sunday afternoon when Garland police say the suspect was driving east on Highway 66, hit 2 other vehicles before stopping at a gas station on Dairy Road. That's where they said he got out and tried to carjack several of the drivers in the parking lot. When those attempts did not work, he then crossed the street and, according to police, tried to carjack the driver of a white Chevy Impala that you will see in the video. But the driver of that car had a family inside with him, including 5 children, and fought back before shooting the suspect, who would later die at the hospital. Police say the early information suggests the shooting was in self-defense, but they will keep investigating.
We look into every single aspect. There's actual video surveillance that's going to assist us in actually ironing out exactly what led up to the shooting and what actually occurred when the shots were fired.
And we're still waiting on the identity of the suspect who was shot and killed. Police say that the man who shot him is cooperating with the investigation and that so far no charges have been filed. In Garland, I'm Chris Sadeghi, now back to you.
Now to the war in Iran as negotiations stall after President Donald Trump rejected Iran's latest proposal. Meanwhile, the president says a new plan is in place today to help oil tankers navigate the Strait of Hormuz safely. Project Freedom is meant to create a defensive umbrella for ships in the region without using escort vessels. Ships have been stuck in the strait for months over safety concerns and lack of insurance. Gas prices are soaring here in the U.S. as the war with Iran rages on, reaching highs we haven't seen in almost 4 years. Oil prices ticking higher this morning, around $102 a barrel. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
10 weeks into the war with Iran, and Americans are feeling the effects at the pump more than ever. Oil prices have soared, reaching near 4-year highs. The national gas average now around $4.43 nationwide, according to Gas Buddy. Prices up $1.30 compared to last year's average.
Americans seem to be convinced that prices aren't going to drop. We're not seeing demand destruction. If anything, we're seeing people probably fill up their tanks because they're pretty confident that the next load is going to be more expensive than the one they're getting now.
A new ABC News Washington Post Ipsos poll finds 50% of Americans say they expect gas prices will get worse over the next year. Only 21% think they'll get better, and 15% expect them to stay the same. President Trump has insisted oil and gas prices will drop as soon as the war ends and the Strait of Hormuz fully reopens.
You're going to start to see immediate relief once the strait opens and supply flows again. We are going to be in a way better place.
Oil analysts say even if the gridlock at the strait ends tomorrow, it will take months to get supplies back online and more than a year for gas to go back to its pre-war level. That same poll finding 44% of Americans say they're now cutting back on driving, many also reducing expenses overall.
I cut down on groceries a little bit because gas is just more of an expense now. I used to not think about it.
Jet fuel prices are also on the rise, nearly doubling since the war began, which is bad news for anyone looking to travel this summer. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
High fuel prices sparked by the Iran war forced Spirit Airlines to shut down over the weekend, leaving thousands of passengers stranded. We were at DFW Airport this morning where the final Spirit flight worldwide, one from Detroit, landed shortly after midnight Sunday morning, officially ending 34 years of operations. Today, passengers are still trying to rebook flights with other carriers. Many, like American and Southwest, are working to accommodate them.
Spirit has benefited me so much as a budget traveler. It has made it possible for me and my family to travel. For instance, I remember going to take a cruise, my children, myself. So we always able to hop on a Spirit flight, get down to the port, which we probably wouldn't have been able to do without an inexpensive flight.
Spirit says most passengers who purchased a ticket with a credit card have received their refunds, but experts say if you have not, you should start the process yourself. Contact your credit card company and request a chargeback. If you book through a third party, contact them to handle your refund. And those with travel insurance, check if your policy covers insolvency. A developing story concerning a cruise ship in the Atlantic. 3 passenger deaths are now reported from a rare infection. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
This morning, global health officials responding to a suspected outbreak of the rare and deadly Hantavirus infection on a cruise ship in the Atlantic. The Dutch ship Hantavirus, with about 150 tourists on board, is now sitting off Africa's west coast. 3 passengers, including an elderly couple, have died. Another passenger is in intensive care. Authorities not allowing anyone else off the ship. Oceanwide Expeditions, which operates the vessel, says it's working with authorities, establishing the full facts and working on appropriate medical care, screening, and next steps. People typically get sick with hantavirus after contact with rats or mice. It gained attention after the late actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy were found dead in New Mexico last year. It was determined she had died from hantavirus.
Hantavirus is not typically infected person to person, and hantavirus is typically transmitted when an individual disrupts, like, let's say, nesting material or tries to clean up rodent feces or urine or saliva, and that they start inhaling all those particles that's infected with hantavirus. And sometimes you can also get scratches and bites from the rodents as well.
There is no specific treatment or cure, but early medication intervention can increase the chance of survival.
Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
No word yet if any Americans are on that ship. The CDC says of the roughly 900 hantavirus cases in the U.S. since the 1990s, about 35% of patients died.